There he is. It's recording, by the way. Do you want to take notes first? I can pause it.
No, I can just go right into it. I can do it. I believe in me.
I believe in you too.
Welcome everyone to episode numero cuatro of Capes of the Round Table. No, this isn't a round table.
And we don't have capes.
Just use your imagination, you know? That's what it's all about here.
Come on, guys.
Today's episode is centered around this character. Some of you may know him as the Mark with the Mouth, Deadpool, Wade W. Wilson. And today's episode is, what would a Deadpool movie bring to the table?
You did that. Good.
It would bring something hopefully like this. So these are just a couple of my collection. Last episode we had Juiced in here kind of taking the helm and feeling about his Aquaman being the new Thor for DC's theory. And what I'd like to spiel about today is this guy who clearly I've spent a decent amount of money on, or at least his character. Wade Wilson. If you haven't seen X-Men Origins, you probably have no idea who this guy is.
If you're part of the general public.
If you're part of the general public.
If you've known Marvel for a while, you've probably seen Deadpool pop up in one of whatever comic you follow.
Yeah. He does lots of cameos. He's really quite a unique comic book character in a lot of senses. We'll get more into his backstory in a minute, but Fox is currently in, like, there's a script written for this movie, right?
There has been for a while.
The writers at one point were the writers who wrote Zombieland. I think they're not brothers. They might be brothers. There were
cool.
Good stuff. There were a lot of people behind this for a while, and for those of you who haven't seen it, he was portrayed in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Nothing like you see him here.
You sure it's the writers of Zombieland?
Yeah,
Paul Wernick.
Yeah, they're not brothers, obviously.
Paul Wernick.
Yep. I don't know if they're still on, but I know early on the first script was ran through by them.
I heard that when they were working on it, they wanted it to be rated R, but they're like not going to allow it to be rated R.
Thank you for bringing that. That's like a big point of this topic is Deadpool's such a intense, very vulgar, in your face, hip to pop culture, a lot of crazy stuff going on character that to make it not rated R would really tarnish some of the source material that they'd be able to use. He has the same healing factor that Wolverine has, only doesn't have the bones that can't be broken. He can get his head chopped off, he can get his arm chopped off, he can be vaporized, and he'll still come back.
He has been vaporized.
He's been vaporized.
And he has come back.
He's been vaporized by the Incredible Hulk. So we're talking insane levels of carnage, and even when he isn't being decapitated or maimed, he just is a very creepy looking character.
Yeah.
Without his costume on.
Okay, assuming that a Wikipedia search could get people to the rest of Deadpool's backstory,
Right.
what would it bring to the specific Fox Marvel universe that's already established? In terms of like the X-Men, in terms of the characters that could be introduced, like Cable and Dom.
Right.
What could?
So I didn't get to finish this point a couple minutes ago. I kind of sidetracked myself. He's portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, who, for the first part of this X-Men Origins Wolverine, was portrayed fairly well. He's at the beginning of the movie and then he's at the end. Beginning and end, he's not anything like what the comics are. Ryan Reynolds, since all these discussions have been going on about having this new, potentially a full solo Deadpool movie, has been completely 100% behind it. He's totally on board. He loves the character. I think he'd do a great job, full costume and full actual movie. What this would bring to the table is a lot of strange things. As he said, if you look into Deadpool's Wikipedia, you can find a lot about him and know all you need to know, really. His entry, I think, is longer than Spider-Man's, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Deadpool's a very unique comic book character because he knows he's in a comic. And in his video game, he knows he's in a video game. He breaks what's called the fourth wall a lot. He does that frequently throughout all of his media that he's been shown in. Think about trying to write a movie where the main character knows he's in a movie.
Yeah.
And knows that all his lines are written. Things like that. Like, it would bring a whole lot. He's a very delusional, mentally messed up guy, but he's also somewhat of an anti-hero. It would bring a lot to the X-Men platform. It would bring a lot of rebooted material and fresh stomping ground for anything X-Men.
Do you think, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Days of Future Past, that somehow what they did, how they quote unquote fixed everything, do you think that could bring about a rebooted version of Deadpool that isn't canon with the version that came in Origins?
I hope to God.
Do you think that's how they could introduce the new Deadpool?
I think that's a very, very likely thing.
Like maybe Deadpool, like in his own movie, like pulls down a projector or something. He's
Right.
like, this is how it happened, and like, and
Yeah,
this is how things changed, and like he's
Yeah.
aware of the change and everything. This is Deadpool.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see that because they could very easily do that because I believe, again, spoiler alert, in Days of Future Past, what it did is reset everything. Like X-Men Origins Wolverine didn't happen, or at least it didn't happen how that movie portrayed it to.
Yeah, like without having that striker and everything.
I'm sure there's still going to be Weapon X.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be where he comes in. It has to be something, showing more of Wolverine's past or something.
Maybe it'll be a little more comic canon.
Right, which I've heard rumors. Okay, so there's going to be, it's already confirmed there's going to be Age of Apocalypse, or just Apocalypse. X-Men Apocalypse. Gambit movie, solo movie.
Channing Tatum.
Whatever. And there's been talk about an X-Force movie coming out.
Really?
Which is Psylocke, Wolverine, Deadpool, never remember his
Cable,
name.
right?
No.
Cable was next.
Archangel, Psylocke,
Gotcha.
Wolverine, Deadpool, and freaking, he's like a French dude and he's got a white coat and he's got guns. Point being, they could very well establish him before they even get to a solo movie with X-Force.
Phantom X?
Yes.
It is.
It's Phantom X, yeah. So
Phantom X was the other member.
that would be a really cool roster to introduce. It would not only introduce Deadpool, but introduce Psylocke, kind of reintroduce Archangel too.
If they really wanted to, they could bring in any former members of like X-Force into the X-Force movie. Like Cyclops was a member before, Bishop was a member before, and he had a pretty big part in Days of Future Past too. Like there are other
Cable.
members, Cable.
Cable's a huge tie-in with this guy. For those of you who don't know, Cable is Cyclops' son. And now that they're doing all this time hopping with, future and past X-Men timelines, I see no reason why they couldn't introduce Cable and Deadpool in their adventures. They've done quite a bit of time hopping together.
Basically, if they did their current lineup plus a Deadpool movie, they could expand the universe like so much.
Exponentially.
Like if they did Apocalypse, Gambit, maybe if they did like Apocalypse, Gambit, then Deadpool, then X-Force, and then probably another X-Men movie after that. Like if they did that timeline, that would be, they could, like the Deadpool movie could set up a lot of characters for the X-Force movie.
Right.
And the X-Force movie could set up even more characters for a big ass 5th X-Men movie.
Yeah. Wow.
5th?
5th? 6th?
6th.
Well, whatever. Yeah, that whole timeline, you can't really get a number.
No, 7th. It would be 7th, because Apocalypse is 6th. After the 3 originals, then First Class, then Days of Future Past, then
right, but
Apocalypse,
then
then that would be 7th.
Whatever.
So many X-Men movies.
So much X-Men.
Even if they brought Deadpool in for a cameo in Apocalypse, just to pull, just because it's gonna be a really dark movie, they pulled it away for a second. If he pulled away the camera for a second or something,
He's just sitting there eating a chimichanga.
or if he was on the set of the movie or something, and they took it back to the action. They would never do that for that series of movie. But if they did, if they needed to bring in other people, other people that help take down Apocalypse,
that would be. What you
said
said just there would be perfect for his solo movie. I've been trying to figure out how he would be portrayed breaking the fourth wall, and to have him talking to the camera guy or a microphone coming down and him being like, "What the fuck? Get this out of here!" Him breaking the fourth wall in a movie.
He's everyone's walking across the set in a line before they're about to take down Apocalypse, and as Deadpool's walking by, he gets hit with the boom mic or something, and he pushes it back up.
Yeah. Subtle things like that. But I'm talking the solo movie. Throughout, he would be he would make references oh, this is all scripted anyway, or something like that. This character would be very difficult to portray in a movie, but also, if done right, would be an enormous fan pleaser, enormous fan server, and I think would definitely potentially get a lot of new people on the bandwagon of being a fan of it. Since Origins came out, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know Deadpool before that movie came out, and I looked him up and looked up, oh wait, he doesn't look anything like this in the comics, just read into his story, and now
Yeah,
have this.
honestly, like I knew a little bit about Deadpool, but you're the one that got me like the most into Deadpool.
And I mean, I'm gonna credit a lot, and not just me, a lot of other people who've gotten super into him recently, probably because of his introduction in that movie. As poor as it was, his
got people thinking about him.
His fame and notoriety and popularity has grown exponentially in the past probably like 5 years, not even. And I could see them doing really great things, putting him in a movie setting.
So essentially, what you're saying.
Bottom line for this whole, what it would bring to the table, what this Deadpool movie would potentially bring to the table is
a whole new cast,
whole new characters. Doing
a whole new way of portraying characters on film.
Completely.
It could potentially help reimagine the Fox Marvel universe and help bring an even bigger audience to it.
And you know, he's not just exclusive to X-Men. He's interacted with Fantastic Four before.
Which actually brings me to something, what they could introduce if they bring in Deadpool and then they intertwine him with both the Fantastic Four universes and the X-Men universe. They could bring about Secret Invasion. I don't think that Disney Marvel has rights to Skrulls. I don't think that's a thing. They have the right to the Kree. Right. They don't have the right to the Skrulls. So I think it's Fox Marvel that has the right to the Skrulls because they have the rights to. I think they were first under publication in Fantastic Four. If they were, it was one of the Fox Marvel movies. I don't remember which one. That's
actually,
already
established. That makes sense.
I think it was. I think it was Fantastic Four.
Super Skrull is the most notable of the Skrulls, and he has the powers of Fantastic Four. So yeah,
I think makes sense. I think it's kind of like how Sony has the rights to Spider-Man and all affiliated characters. I think it goes the same with Fox Marvel. I think they have the right to Fantastic Four and all affiliated characters like Silver Surfer, Galactus, Super Skrulls. Mole Man, of course. Mole Man. If a Deadpool movie came to the table, literally you could do the entire Skrull storyline. If you don't know about it, search Secret Invasion. Great storyline. Just all throughout comics and everything. So yeah, Deadpool, like a little Wade Wilson there could potentially open up so many doors.
Really open up a crazy amount of doors, even if they don't stretch it as far as Secret Invasion and Fantastic Four.
Which I think they might, because that would fit into like a 6th X-Men movie.
It's just stop.
I'm getting you too excited.
You're too crazy here. Even just X-Men, what introducing this character, hopefully in a solo film, would drastically increase the amount of characters, amount of storylines, everything that you could do. He's made his way around the comics.
He's made his mark.
Yeah.
And I think that what a lot of executives don't understand is how important Deadpool has been to the Marvel universe. Like just the fact that he's been around.
Yeah.
It could get anyone interested in any series.
Yeah.
Like it could get a bigger audience to the X-Men one, the X-Men universe, the Fantastic Four universe. Like there's a lot of movies that are still owned by Fox. I think Ghost Rider went back to Marvel.
Really? I was just thinking about that last night. If that's true,
I think Ghost Rider went back to Marvel. Daredevil went back to Marvel too.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that series. One last point that I'd like to make: this movie is going to have to be R, and if not R,
it's not going to be. They already said it's going to be PG-13. But you gotta think there are other movies that are PG-13.
Yeah,
like. I hate to bring it up because it's a very poor example for this specific scenario, but Hunger Games was PG-13, and they show people getting like stabbed with arrows and shot.
No. Hunger Games. I just saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That was PG-13. There was some there's some swearing. There's some crazy.
They pushed the bar.
Yeah, they did push the bar.
Like
also, Transformers. There were a couple.
I'd like to bring up.
As ashamed as I am to say that I saw Age of Extinction, that's a good example of PG-13. There was a lot of, usually robot guts and violence.
Yeah.
There's, as far as swearing, continuity,
running the risk of making this go too long.
My bad.
No, it's okay.
I loved it.
No, it's okay. But last point I want to bring up is with the Fox Marvel universe, they push it already anyway. Like Charles Xavier's insane drug addiction.
Right.
Future Past. And with they did a lot of swearing in that one too. But yeah.
So, thanks for watching episode 4 of Capes. Like this video if you liked it. Comment and tell us what you think a Deadpool movie would bring to the table, and subscribe if you haven't already. Signing off. I'm Justin.
No, we're not doing this again.
I'm James.
I'm Justin.
And see you next time.
That was good.